Good evening, everyone. It is still January 25th. We had a hearing this morning, or a meeting this morning. It's January 25th, 2024, and the time is 5:24 p.m. And I call the IDA public hearing into order at this time. If you can please call the roll.
Yes, Honorable Sean Patterson Howard.
Here.
Okay. Brian Johnson.
Here.
Stephanie Vanderpool.
Here.
Adrian Saunders is
Absent.
and Dr. Karen Morton absent as well.
Okay. All righty. We can proceed with the agenda.
The first matter on is public hearing regarding application by Quest LLC. I'll turn it over to Ms. Mack, who has a statement prepared to open the public hearing and let people know what's going on.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Robin Mack. I'm the Director of Business Development for the Mount Vernon Industrial Development Agency. We're here this afternoon on 25th of January, 2024 at roughly at 5:25 p.m. to open the public hearing on the Quest LLC project in accordance with Section 859A, Subdivision 2 of the New York General Municipal Law. Notification for the hearing appeared in the Journal News on January 11th, 2024. The period for written public comment shall remain open until 11:59 p.m. Thursday, February 1st, 2024. Any written comments may be sent to the Mount Vernon Industrial Development Agency, Mount Vernon City Hall. The street address is 1 Roosevelt Square, 2nd floor, Mount Vernon, New York, zip code 10550, to the attention of Robin Mack. Or you can send your comments by email to email address mvida.meetings@cmvny.com. Please ensure that the subject line reads Q West LLC project. If there is anyone who would like to speak on this project, please raise your hand, give your name, and if you are here representing an organization, please identify the same. The public is advised that a reasonable amount of time will be allowed for comments. We're allowing 4 minutes to be made relevant to the project. If you have any written statement or documentation you would like to submit for the record, you may do so. I'd like to insert here that prior to the start of the meeting, we received written comments from Chris McDonough, which will be added to the record. The hearing is now open at 5:28 p.m. to the members of the public who wish to speak in favor or in opposition of this project. Please approach the microphone. Well, we've got a microphone here on the table, so if you're in the room, you'll have to speak loudly enough so that your voice can carry. Provide your name, address, and again, if you are here on behalf of a company or an organization, state the name of that organization. Please note that the transcript of this public hearing will be reviewed by the entire IDA board in determination of this project. For the record, Q West LLC, for itself or an entity to be formed, well, it's here on out will be known as the company, has submitted an application to the agency requesting the agency's assistance with a certain project. Going forward, it'll be called the project, consisting of point 1, the acquisition or retention of the land commonly known as 1 North McQuestion Parkway and 25 North McQuestion Parkway, Mount Vernon, New York. The block and lot for those properties are section 164.68. The block is 1073, lots 20, 21, 24, 25, and 26. Here, going forward, will be called the land. Point 2, the construction, improvement, maintenance, and equipping on the land of subsection I, 2 affordable residential buildings containing an aggregate of approximately 229 rental units, approximately 115 units in building 1, and 114 units in building 2, out of which there will be 56 studios, 89 one-bedroom apartments, 81 two-bedrooms, and 3 three-bedroom units. Subsection 2I. Associated amenities include laundry rooms, recreation space. Subsection 3I, approximately 3,000 square feet of combined commercial space. And subsection 4, including a green roof and energy efficient construction. Subsection 5, 28 units will be provided at 40% AMI. 72 units will be provided at 50% AMI. 77 units will be provided at 60% AMI. 41 units will be provided at 80% AMI, and 1 unit for the superintendent. Going forward, that'll be known as improvements. And bullet point 3, the acquisition and installation in and around the land and improvements of certain items of equipment and other tangible personal property, here and going forward known as equipment, which together with the land and improvements are called the facility. The agency will acquire or retain title to or leasehold interest in the facility, as well as interest in the equipment, and lease the facility back to the company. The company will operate the facility during the term of the lease. At the end of the lease term, the company will purchase the facility from the agency, or if the agency holds a leasehold interest, the leasehold interest will be terminated. The agency contemplates that it will provide financial assistance to the company in the form of subsection I, an exemption from sales and use tax upon the materials, services, furnishings, fixtures, and equipment to be utilized in connection with the project, and subsection 2I, partial abatement of the real property tax structured under a payment in lieu of tax agreement. That ends the statement for the agency.
Thank you. Just really quickly before we go forward, hoping that either Ms. Saunders or Mr. Orville would have been here today for the school. Just texting her to see if she's going to be here.
Someone overlap at least with a bunch of business cards. A meeting, I think it's very supposed to.
Well, even if they're not here, you know, like I said, the transcript is going to be available, and the video is also available so that they can catch up. All right. So next on the agenda.
So it's open to the public if they want to make any comments. It's not a question and answer period, but we want to hear from the public if there are any comments. Just ask again, people come up and state their name.
So as Ms. Mack stated earlier, this is a public hearing. As tradition with the City of Mount Vernon public hearings, you get 4 minutes to speak. 3 minutes, and then with kind of 1 minute left, we will give you a note that you have 1 minute left so that you could wrap up. This is a hearing for the Q West at 1 and 25 North McQuestion Parkway. This is a public hearing for that project only. So we will take comments for or against on that project specifically, as that is the project that is before us today. We are asking those who are against the project to speak first. I always love to an opportunity for those who are against the project to speak first. When I do the same thing for budgets, when we're doing budgets, you could always go back and look because she's looking like, wow, you're gonna have speak against it, right? I always, even when we're doing a budget hearing, and it's my budget that I put out, I always invite those who are against it to speak first. So those who are against the project, if you are online or in the room, can you put up the name of the participants? Can you expand the participants so we know who might potentially be online?
Somebody in the chat, you see the chat?
Yes, I get the chats from my laptop.
Oh, okay.
So we have a Mr. Brian Reardon, we have Miss Julie Marshall, who is connected to our IDA, and we have a Miss Karen Scotchy. Mr. Reardon or Miss Scotchy, would you like to speak against the project? Mr. Reardon or Miss Scotchy, would you like to speak against the project? One more time for those online, Mr. Reardon or Miss Scotchy, would you like to speak against the project?
I think Mr. Reardon's part of the project.
So Mr. Reardon is part of the project. Okay, so the only potential speaker that we have right now online is Miss Scotchy. Okay, Miss Scotchy, would you like to speak against the project? I think I've said that 3 times now. So we'll move on. Is there anyone here in the room who would like to speak against the project? You'd like to speak against the project? Is there anyone here in the room who would like to speak?
I just want to make a comment that's not
For or against?
Yeah, because I feel like that's a very hard place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a conversation, it's developing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just want to say, okay, my name is Gabriel Thompson.
If you could just speak up, because we want.
Sorry, I'm mumble. Reside here in Mount Vernon, 33 Brainerd. So, one of the when I tried to educate myself about what IDAs are, what purpose they serve, and how they can function. And my last years I've been in New York City, which is very different to me. It's illegal in New York City to use IDAs for residential projects. They have other avenues. They have other structures to do that, some of which exist. And so I was frustrated because at first I was like, well, wait a minute. Even though Governor Hochul has encouraged IDAs to do this as the work, because people don't build enough houses, right? New York has built 1 house for every 20 jobs in the last 15 years. That's why it's so expensive. So at first, when I was looking at this, I said, well, why is it, building affordable housing to me is an important policy goal. And I think it's an important thing to do. And it will never happen without government assistance, whether it's federal or whether it's state or local. So for me, I was trying to look through things. And when I first looked at some documents, I said, well, they're underestimating the number of school children. And that, to me, it looked like, well, this makes it look like it's less expensive for the community. Okay. But to me, that actually undercuts the argument for, right, building affordable housing. Because I want there to be affordable housing for young families, right? For children who will have better financial outcomes in their life, less educational problems which are very expensive by patients. less incarceration rates, better cognitive, lower rates of depression, or, I mean, all these things are kind of facts, right? I did not have, facts. I had raised Section 8 of HUD and helped pay my rent. And I grew up though in a mixed neighborhood. So HUD helped pay the rent, but it was just a normal neighborhood. It was a single family home, but it was just a neighborhood full of people. So I share some concern about, you know, making sure projects don't end up all two together. So you don't end up essentially sequestering, you know, all of the lowering people in one neighborhood. That's not good for society. It's not good in the Queensbridge projects, even though great hip hop came out of there. It's just, it's not good for society, right? So my issue was that, you know, it's going to cost the city money. But the policy goal for me, I said, what was the policy goal to build affordable housing? Because the housing quality here is quite poor. And from my experience of being here a short time, not my neighborhood, of course, right? But, you know, that policy goal is important to me. And when that policy goal is communicated, when it says, hey, this is going to cost money, right? And it's going to cost money, but it's going to have this effect, right? Then when that's communicated to me that way, I have a way easier time swallowing hard facts, right? Or things that will cost money. The shit costs money. I know that. We all know that. I know there are concerns, right? And there are valid concerns about what impact it could have on people's property taxes. Not for me. I can afford whatever menial increase this will happen. But for people who property taxes are a huge percentage of their income and can price them out of their homes. So that is a valid concern. I don't want to discount it. It is a real concern. You know, how do these costs burdens get shifted to the property owners who in this town don't predominantly look like me or make near as much money as me. Or my wife, I should say. I'm kind of a schmuck. So so I will just say that I think that the policy goal, and I feel like this morning was better communicated both by yourself, Ms. Mayor, and Mr. Morton, that policy goal is admirable and whatever. The other issue though that I just want to put down is whether people come from Mount Vernon, whatever, whoever moves here, you're a citizen of Mount Vernon, whether you moved last week or you moved last year or you moved 15, right? You know, less and more citizens. We don't need to argue about whether they're new kids or not because it's musical chairs. We don't even need to think about it. It's just look at the cost. It's the net increase in population and the statistical chance of it. Because if they move from inside Mount Vernon, somebody else moves into their house, right? It's just musical chairs. So yes, so I'm very for building affordable housing. I'm very for making sure that, you know, they have access. So that's 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, we're kind of about 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
It's okay.
Yeah, so, and I don't. So just for me, it's just about, I want to have the conversation as honestly and direct as possible. And I'm not trying to say anybody's not doing that or is doing that, whatever. But I think it's important that conversations are had, you know, with the stakeholders, who are, you know, the citizens, residents, and voters, and that they're had honestly. And we talk about the honest costs of doing this kind of work because I mean, there's costs to it. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you. So, thank you very much. Do we have anyone in the room who is against the project? That's the last time I'll ask. Do we have anyone online? Well, there's no one on Zoom any longer that's not connected to the city or this project. We have Ms. Scotchy. Is there anyone for in the room or online the project who would want to speak on behalf of the project? Anyone in the room or online that would like to speak on behalf of the project? Anyone else in the room or online who would like to speak on behalf of the project? Oh, that's pretty quick. So Ms. Mack, if you could just read the information again of where people could send their public comments and the public comment period, the email, how to get the information to us. I mean, we have held, I'm going to say this. We'll say that we have held public hearings from the time I was here. And we even hold hybrid. All of our public hearings are hybrid, making it easy for those who are not able to make it to be able to participate online, those who can make it to the building to participate in person. And it's available and accessible. We have been trying to educate our community regarding pilots. There was a belief by many in the community that pilots mean that projects pay no taxes. It does not mean that projects do not pay taxes. It means that they pay a negotiated tax. I want to make sure I'm saying that right.
In lieu.
Assessor, and it's a payment in lieu of taxes.
Yeah.
So it's a negotiated rate. And historically, or for the last few decades, Mount Vernon has not really done well in determining, what the pilot amount is going to be. In 2020, when this administration came into office, we sought very diligently to make sure that we updated all of our bylaws, all of our rules, that we were operating properly through Robert's rules and in accordance with our bylaws. We have worked very, very hard to get caught up on all of our financial reporting and get our certification back, which we've done. I think we finished 2018, 19, 20, 21, and 22.
Yeah.
And we were given our IDA, our full IDA status back on January 2nd.
Yes.
On January 2nd, we regained our IDA status. And there was a lot of work that was put into that. Since being in office, we collected over $3 million in delinquent pilot payments from developers. And I believe everyone is pretty much caught up to their payments with the exception of one. Mm-hmm. And that's not a residential project, it's a industrial project. And we're working with them to come fully into financial compliance. We've done everything transparently and provided opportunities for people to participate in the conversation. So, with that being said, I just kind of wanted to catch us up to where we are today. And so we're here for Q West's project, the Q West or Quest Towers project. You've given information, and so I guess now you can wrap it up since this is a hearing.
Yes.
And we've had no more people who are interested in speaking in behalf or against. And I'm on Facebook Live also looking to see if there are comments or if there are people who are viewing and had comments. But I see no comments, and so
I'll close us out. The public hearing was opened at 5:24 p.m. The public hearing is now closed. However, the period for written comment shall remain open until 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, February 24th. 2024. I'm going to repeat that date and time. 11:59 p.m. Thursday, February 1st, 2024.
that's a week.
That's one full week, yeah. Any written comments may be sent to Mount Vernon Industrial Development Agency, Mount Vernon City Hall. Address is 1 Roosevelt Square, 2nd floor, Mount Vernon, New York, 10550. To the attention of Robin Mack, Director of Business Development. Also, we are accepting written comments by email to MVIDA.meetings, that's plural, at cmvny.com, with the subject line referencing Q West Project, Q West LLC project. Thank you.
Is there any new business?
No new
New
business.
business before us. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn, public hearing.
I second.
Okay. Roll call.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. It's adjourned.
Public hearing and meeting is adjourned at 5:49 PM. Thank you, everyone.